This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network, now in its 7th year. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey! Hey, this is Alex. Big red letters there. Yeah, and the white letters say the Ramble. That's the name of the program here until midnight tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, up to Connecticut we go. Connecticut.
No, Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. Why? I don't want to make you that much closer to me than you already are.
Right.
Yeah. That's Stephen Kravitz, ladies and gentlemen, and he is.
Hey, folks.
We talk to him every week because he's fun to talk to, and he's interesting to talk to. Anything new in your life?
Well, I told you my tooth fell out.
Yes.
So I got to go to the dentist tomorrow, and they got to dig in there and dig out the root. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
And my TV only has sound; it has no picture.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's like radio.
It's like. Oh, God. Oh, well. What, now, which do you think is the worst problem, the tooth or the TV?
The TV. The tooth I can deal with. The TV, I don't know what to do.
I got trouble with the tooth over here.
Right.
It doesn't. I don't get toothache. No toothache. It's just kind of sensitive sometimes. If I bite down on it, it's a little sensitive, but not really sensitive. But there's no toothache there. So
I have no tooth at all, so there's no toothache.
So I don't know what it is. Well, maybe I'll have them pull all mine out.
Yeah, right. You don't want to do that. Trust me.
We can do the toothless show or something like that.
Right.
Yeah,
right. The toothless eldercocker show.
Exactly. So now will this be the end of your teeth problems?
One can hope. I mean, it's been going on now for 5-6 months.
Why all these tooth problems? Did it have to do with the drugs or something?
Yeah. Yeah. It finally caught up with me.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you haven't done drugs in what, 15 years?
16.
16 years now. 16 years.
It'll be 17 years in July.
So, it's kind of like you should have gotten a what's the word I'm looking for? You should have gotten a bonus for quitting. Okay.
Right. I should have got a pass.
I had a doctor once. I went to a urologist once, and I said. He said, "Oh, well, we've got to do a cystoscopy on you." That's when they take this scope and put it up your penis. It's really It's one.
Oh no.
I know it's not as bad as it sounds, but it is as uncomfortable as it sounds. Okay.
Well, it sounds horrible.
He did it twice. Yeah.
Right.
Well, because every time he did it, he could make $500. And it didn't. Every time he did it, he didn't find anything.
Right.
At one point, I said, unless you're looking for gold up there, get the hell out, okay?
Right.
See what you came to find out and get out of there. But anyway, he said to me once, he said, well, you might have bladder cancer. And I said, because he found a little trace of blood in my urine, which I always had, until this latest doctor I have who said, well, then after I find a little trace of blood on the dipstick thing, I go in and look under a microscope and you don't have any blood in your urine. If that guy had just done that, but he just saw that I had blood in my urine, he says, you got to do cystoscopy. So I said to him, why? He says, you might have bladder cancer. And I said, bladder cancer? Why? He said, well, it says here you smoke 2 packs a day. That's 2 packs a day for 20 years. That's 40 pack years of cigarettes. I said, what does that have to do?
Like dog years?
Yeah. I said, what does that have to do with it? He says, well, you might have bladder cancer. And I said, so really what you're saying is I shouldn't have ever quit. So anyway, don't laugh too hard. We get to see that tooth, and you look like a hillbilly.
Yeah, no kidding. Or the biggest 7-year-old.
Yeah. But anyway, so I mean, do you tell them when you go to the dentist and they see that your tooth is falling out? Do they ever say to you, "Oh, we know you're in show business. We better fix this up fast"?
No, no,
No.
because I don't tell them. I don't tell them what I do.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, when I first started out as doing stand up, I told everybody.
Yeah.
You know, I check into a hotel and it's like, I'm the comic. You got to come see. I'm the comic. Now I don't tell anybody.
Don't tell anybody.
No.
Right. Why don't you tell them?
I don't know. I don't think it's that important right anymore to tell everybody I meet.
Yeah, but I mean, in this case, you should tell them because cosmetically they might want to like put in some kind of temporary something in there, or tell you to use a chiclet or something. It's,
A chiclet.
I mean, suppose you were making a movie right now and that tooth fell out.
Right.
They'd have to do.
Well, that would
something.
be different. That would be different, Alex.
Yeah, but I mean, they would have to do something fast, or at least a fast fix.
Right. A temporary fast fix.
Yeah. I mean, I had a tooth here missing for a while until I had the implant put in.
Right.
And it was, but it was in a place where you would never see it. This one's kind of
Right.
where you might see it.
Right.
If I ever, oh, there goes your phone. If I
Shut it off.
ever had it pulled or something, which might have to happen, but
Right.
you really won't be able to see it because I don't open my mouth like that. So
Right.
I'd have to go like that.
Right. Mine's in the front, so you can see it.
Oh yeah. I just saw it when you were smiling, so I'm
Right.
gonna try to not make you laugh. But they should say, okay, well, I guess I got to put a bridge in there or something to
Something.
fill that up.
First, they got to clean. First, I go in tomorrow and they clean out the root.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a project, because they're going to give me Novocaine up in my upper palate.
Yeah.
So that'll hurt.
No, just sting. They always do it in your upper palate when it's an upper
Right.
tooth, And they go in there, and it's uncomfortable for a while, but not as uncomfortable as it would be if they worked on you without it.
Yeah, no kidding, huh?
So that's the benefit to that tooth.
To the Novocaine.
Yes, folks, we're not talking about health concerns today. We're talking about
Dental.
dental. What I love about my health concerns is when my wife ever says something to me like, can you please take the garbage out? Because every night we have to put the garbage out. Into our hallway, and then in the morning they pick it up, yeah. Or whenever I have enough garbage to do that. Okay?
Right.
And she says, so if you go take out the garbage. And I go, I can't. I've got cancer.
You don't have cancer.
Well, I do actually, technically. After 5 years, I'm probably out of the woods, but
Right.
But I can always pull the cancer thing. I've done that when I got like my what do you call it, shots, my vaccinations for COVID.
Right.
They put me
Have
right.
you gotten the second booster?
Oh, I got the second booster. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So hey, if they gave a new booster every week, I'd be there.
Yeah, me too.
I
too.
mean, I don't want to die from that. That's not a nice way to die.
I went to the senior center to get my second booster,
Yeah.
and they gave me a gift card for $25.
That's what they say they're doing. They've never done that with me. I've never gotten any swell gifts and prizes for getting my vaccination.
No, I didn't expect it.
I went and got my second vaccination, and then I think I got my booster. And then they announced that in order for if people go out and get their first vaccination, we'll give you $100.
Right.
And I'm going, wait a minute. Why didn't you retroactively give me the $100?
Well, they're supposed to send us out another stimulus check.
Oh, well, the stimulus check's a different thing now.
Right.
I never got that for some reason. I never saw the stimulus check.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah. Maybe we had to apply for it or something.
I don't know. I don't know how it works.
Yeah. But hey, I'm a senior and I need my stimulus check.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I'm really an old fart. God.
Nah.
Well, no, I'm thinking. You know, what I'm thinking about doing. I'm thinking about.
What's that?
Well, like when I. Oh, who's calling me? Stop. When I'm doing interviews and things like that, I've often thought about like. Let me see here. Doing this. Wait a minute. Where is it? Stop video? No, I don't want to stop video. Huh. I guess I can stop my video. Let me see here. There we go. Just doing that. And then everybody can, like, you know.
It's like doing a show with Bubbles.
It's like doing a show with Bubbles, right? So, anyway, yeah. By the way, I talked to, you know, you're very close to the Dursts because
Right.
they're your mother and father.
Right.
Or surrogate mother and father or something
Right,
like
right,
that.
exactly.
Yeah. Well, what happened was, see, this all comes down when you're old. All you're talking about is other people's ailments and so died and whatever. But Will, in case people don't know Will Durst, but he's done the show a lot, he had a stroke about 2.5 years ago. All right?
Right.
And he's been having trouble. He can't get out. They still have him in bed because they say until you can put weight on the one leg and use it to kind of walk, but be able to stand on it, we can't do anything. And the thing is, he's been in great pain in that leg.
Right. You told me he broke his hip.
Well, no, what happened was for like the last year, he's been complaining about the pain, and he hasn't been able to use that leg. And finally he goes to the doctor and he says, do me a favor, you know, humor me. Take an x-ray. He says, okay, that's easy enough. Send him down the hall, gets an x-ray, comes back, looks at the x-ray and says, oh, you have a broken ball joint in your hip.
Right. You told me this.
Okay, well, now this is the sweet part about it. So now Debbie, his wife, right, she already had one titanium hip, but she has to
Right.
have another one installed, put in, okay?
Okay.
So she has to have her hip operation. So they have their hip operations within 2 days of each other, and they wind up in the same hospital room.
Oh, really?
And I called them the other day, and it's so cute. She's across the room, and he's lying in the bed, and she says for the first time in 2.5 years, I can hear him snore.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's,
Oh, wow.
It's really sweet. you
How
know.
cool is that?
Well, I mean, it's got to be wonderful for him to have her around. They've never been able to spend a night together
That's right.
in two
That's
and a half
right.
years. So, and then the.
I wonder if he'll ever get to go home.
I think so. I think now that they've solved this hip problem, he's just got to go through therapy and be able to stand on it, put weight
Right.
on it, and once that happens, he can go home. So here's hoping.
Yeah, here's hoping.
I mean, when you say, will he ever be able to go home? And you go, God, he's been in that nursing home for what?
2.5 years.
At least in that nursing home for 2 years.
Right.
And you go, that's not fun.
No, but you told me he got both hands working, right?
He's got both hands working, yeah.
So he can type.
He can type, yeah. This is a guy, ladies and gentlemen, who's a really good friend. And a very good friend to Steve as well. And he did the worst thing happened to him that could happen to a comic. He had a stroke.
Right. A massive stroke.
Now, some people have minor strokes and they can get back on stage and, they've got it back again.
I had a minor stroke.
You had a minor stroke?
Yeah.
Did it leave you with anything bad?
Yeah, my right hand. My right hand is constantly numb and cold.
Numb and cold?
Yeah.
Which hand?
Right.
Oh, God, that's the one that I have a bad hand here because I fell.
Right.
And
Tell me.
And it still hurts me. And
Right.
And right here, I used to get shots for arthritis right there, but it seemed to have brought the arthritis back worse because I fell. So I've got to go and get another shot, but it's my fingers. Getting them together like this is kind of more difficult.
Right.
And see, folks, no young people are going to want to watch this, okay? But this is my favorite hand because
It's a dominant hand.
It's my dominant hand. You
Right.
know, it's the one I eat with. It's the one I write with. It's the
Right.
one I with.
Right,
You
right,
know,
right,
you
right,
know?
right.
I mean, it's a very important hand to me, and I have to have full function if I'm going to have any kind of a sex life these days.
Yeah,
So-
my right hand is my dominant hand.
Yeah.
And also I get tremors in it.
Well, I wonder why this hand? Why not this hand? And the thing is, when I fell, I probably, to break the fall, put out my dominant hand.
Right, of course.
You know, you wouldn't
Of
put
course.
on your undominant hand, although that would stop your fall too. But you just don't immediately. You know,
Right.
the left. I can't think of many things I do with my left hand. I don't
No.
even give people the finger with my left hand.
No,
You
no,
know?
of course not.
Yeah, I wonder if people who are lefties give the finger with their left hand. I bet they do.
Of course they do. They do everything with their left hand.
Yeah, but you know, it's kind of it's dominant. You know, and that's my problem is that it's dominant. So you know, but so where were we? Oh yeah, so Will's you know, hopefully this will get him to a point where at least he can go home.
Right, wouldn't that be nice?
Well, she said to me that the problem with it is that if he comes home, she built in a one of these one of these stair elevator things.
Right. A
chair, so they can get upstairs. But she said he has to be able to get up himself, and either with a walker or something else, be able to get around.
Right.
He said because if he has to get up to go to the bathroom, she's a little woman. She's
Right.
very small woman. She says, there's no way I could lift him up to do it.
Right.
So
Right,
he has to be
right.
able to do it himself. He has to be able to get out of bed, get to the walker if need be, or crutch or whatever, and
Right.
then go to the bathroom. Then he has to sit on the seat, she said, which I don't have the ability to pick him up once he sits in the seat. So
Right. He has to be able to get himself
There-
up and down.
there has to be a certain amount of function in order for him to go home.
I was getting my car serviced yesterday, and there was a woman in the waiting area who had a stroke, and she was using a pretty heavy walker to get around, and she only had to use like one leg pretty much, and she was really slow getting around and had a real dominant limp.
Yeah.
And I think that's what will be.
I remember a show called The Goon Shows in England, and there was a joke they had where a guy, he walked with a pronounced limp.
We'd like to start this show by saying good evening, and in that order.
In that order. Yes, you know the shows then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I do.
Yes.
Spike Milligan, Peter Sellers, and Harry Secombe.
Seacom, yeah. You're right.
Secombe.
Yeah. I'm glad you were a fan. I was always a fan of those shows when I was growing up. These were shows
Yeah.
on the BBC in England called The Goon Shows, which, if you like Monty Python, guess what they listened to when they were growing up?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
That's where they got their sense of humor, from The Goon Shows, which was completely anarchistic comedy.
Oh yeah,
Nothing made any sense.
but it made perfect sense.
But it made perfect sense, exactly. So lines like, he walked with a pronounced limp,
Right.
is the kind of humor that they had. And it was just crazy. And more comedy, I think, more British comedy, modern comedy, has been influenced by the Goon Shows than any single
Oh,
thing.
absolutely. And Python will admit that.
Oh, they have no qualms about it,
No.
And that's where Peter Sellers got his start, became
Right.
a star. And Spike Milligan, maybe he wrote most of the shows,
Right.
is probably one of the greatest comedy minds in history.
Right.
But here in America, if I mention Spike Milligan to people, they go, who?
Right.
They don't know who he is. And yet, I go Monty Python, they know that, and they don't realize that a lot of the comedy that they've seen in the last 50 years, coming out of England, has been influeed by the Goons.
Actually, there's one radio skit that the Goon Show did that Python did in a film. It's about stealing an office building.
I don't think that was the thing they stole. I think they stole it from an episode in which they took a prison
Right. But it was stolen from the Goon Show.
Yeah, well, it was a prison in England, and they decided to float it across the channel so the prisoners could have a vacation.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And it showed the power of radio because you didn't have to do it. You could just say, hey, we're floating on the water now. You know?
Right.
And Dartmoor Prison, that was the prison. It was called
is that right?
Tales of Old Dartmoor was, I think, the name of the episode. And they decided that they all wanted to go on a vacation, all the prisoners, so they floated Dartmoor Prison across the English Channel, I think, to France or something like that.
That's just so funny.
Yeah. But the comedy that you've enjoyed coming out of England all these years, even the Beatles movies were influenced by them.
Oh yeah.
Because the director of the Beatles movies, I'm trying to remember his name right now, was also the director of some Goon movies.
Really?
They made little Goon shorts.
See, I didn't know they made Goon shorts.
Yeah. The something of the Muckanese battle horn, I seem to remember, as one of Lester was the director. And he did things. He did Goon videos. Maybe he did them with Peter Sellers, or he did something with Seacom or whatever. But he was doing those prior to doing A Hard Day's Night. Richard Lester, prior to doing A Hard Day's Night. And
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so that's why the Beatles picked him to direct their first movie. They said, "Oh, he did the Goons." You know,
right?
And so that was the beginning of Lester's big movie career. But those films were influenced again by the Goons,
right?
And so most of your comedy, folks, the comedy that's informed your sense of humor over the last 50 years, it's because of the Goons. Yeah.
Oh, more than that, over the last 60 years.
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying 50 because I can't count, but I don't know how many years. They were on in the 50s, I think.
Right. I believe so.
Middle to late 50s. So
right.
that would
early
be
60s.
That would be 60 years. Yeah, 60 years, 70 years maybe.
Maybe.
Almost 70 years. I wonder if Seacom I don't think is alive anymore, and I don't know if Spike Milligan I don't think is alive any longer.
I don't think any of them are alive.
I don't think any of them are alive any longer. No. But they influenced me, you know. I mean, I listened to them, and then everything in comedy that I did had a little bit of Goon in me, you know.
Oh yeah.
But I love just the anarchism of the humor.
Kings of the non sequitur.
They made no sense whatsoever.
Right.
I mean, if I said to you that the audience would break up when I think it was Milligan would go, you know,
right,
and the whole audience would go crazy because he was doing that in every episode. So when he did it, it was like, you know, I mean, it's hard to really tell people how funny they are, and it's very hard to tell people where they can find the Goon shows. Probably, if you go to YouTube and type in Goon shows, maybe something will come up. I know they did the last Goon show in which they filmed it, and there's a video of that out there.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, of them standing at microphones doing it.
Right, holding scripts.
Yeah, but they all went on to their own little forms of career. You know, Seacom became a guy in the musical theater. He did, I think, what was it? What was that thing? The musical, the Oliver.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was in Oliver, and he showed up a lot of places, but his career wasn't that incredible. Milligan's was pretty good. He did a lot of British TV,
Hmm.
But the one who had the biggest career was Peter Sellers,
Right.
obviously,
Absolutely.
obviously, and all of what he did in future years was informed by his work with the Goons as well. You know,
Oh, absolutely.
so anyway, so we went from his teeth falling out to a guy with a stroke to the Goons, and I don't know how we got there,
So we did.
but we did, and it was a nice trip with our good friend Stephen Kravitz. Steve, thank you for being with us. Will you do this again with us next week?
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, without a tooth in the front, smile. Go ahead, smile. Smile. There he is, Stephen Kravitz. Bye, Stephen.
This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network, now in its 7th year. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Okay, well, good. Always great to have Steve Kravitz here, toothless or not. He'll get those teeth taken care of eventually. Oh, listen, mine have been bothering me. So, oh, wait a minute, hold on a second. Forgot to turn the lights on. There we go. Now the lights are on. And I'm ready to go. We got one person waiting to come on here. So, and he's quality, so, it doesn't matter whether he's just pure, utter quality. And it's, hold on a second. It's Charlie Wallace here. Let me just bring the Zoom panel in here. There's Charlie. Hello, Charlie.
Hey, Alex.
Hey, it's just you and me, Charlie.
Looks like. Wow.
Holding down the fort completely.
Yeah, I guess everybody's too PO'd about that Supreme Court news.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that in a moment if we get any more people here. But in the meantime, since you're the harbinger of death, give them the death count.
Yeah, it was for the first time in about 12 weeks, we had over 1,000 people die. 1,880 Americans died today.
And what's the current amount of people dead?
996,624.
Well, you're wrong. NBC tonight said they recounted, and it's at over 1 million now.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I've probably been over 1 million for weeks. It doesn't surprise me. These numbers we've been seeing have been artificially low.
I think they have been artificially low, and but we're going back up again, right?
Yeah, we've definitely been going back up the last 2 weeks, and even more probably.
So what the real problem here is that people are just, I think we just got too loosey-goosey about this. Everybody got so sick. I'm sick and tired of having to put up with this. Well, the COVID is not sick and tired of you.
Yep.
And
I was at the store yesterday, and I swear less than 30%, less than a third of the people had masks on.
I would still wear a mask indoors.
Yeah,
still.
I was one of those 1/3.
Outdoors, I always questioned it. Okay, because if you were just far enough away from other people, you're pretty cool, But when you're in a place that's enclosed, that disease has nowhere to go. But I mean, we got too loosey-goosey about this, and I think our president's gotten too lax about it, and I think even Fauci's getting lax
Even
about
Fauci said we weren't in the pandemic anymore, so everybody threw the masks away.
Yeah. Don't throw your masks away, folks. You may need them. You may need them, So I'm sure here's a guy that doesn't wear a mask, doesn't not wear a mask.
You better believe it.
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely in the group that might be subject to it. I am too, in spite of the
diabetes, yeah.
Well, diabetes for him, and for you, I guess your diabetes makes you more prone to getting it and dying from it. And of course, we have Jeff here, who has a myriad of problems, but he's healthy, but COVID couldn't kill him if he weren't vaccinated. So
I had a friend who took all the medications, all the shots.
Mm-hmm.
He still got it.
Well, that's happening, but how sick did he get?
Pretty sick.
Yeah, but was he hospitalized?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Wow, it's one of the rare ones, yeah.
Yeah. But let's just say he's a too fat guy. Okay.
Oh, okay.
You know, and older,
Mm-hmm.
older than us.
Oh,
Let's
really?
say.
Older than me?
Oh, wow, old enough.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, then there's every reason, I mean,
Yeah.
you got to keep the weight down. That's one thing you got to do. And there are a lot of other things that, are contributing factors. And he had quite a few of them. So what are you going to do? So.
Well,
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
he sounded a little better this time.
Yeah. So is this going to be it tonight? I wonder.
I don't know. No, I think.
What's going on? Where's everybody? Wow.
I have no idea. There's no sports going on, are there? Or what? Or are there? Let me see here. Let me
Basketball playoffs are going.
The basketball playoffs are going. Which basketball?
NBA.
Well, NBA.
Major
Okay.
League.
All right. So, all right. So we got that. Wait a minute. Here. Here's Alan. Lucky us. Here comes Alan. Yeah. Hello,
Yeah.
Alan. How are you this evening?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, Alex?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Good, good.
But it's
Good.
what?
A little red side, but good.
I'm on the red side.
Yeah, your face is a little red.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, that's because I have the orange light on me.
Okay.
See, I mean, I can change that if you'd
I thought
like.
that was only for Trump.
You're
sorry.
always just so, what's the word I'm looking for? Complimentary.
I just,
Yeah. You're looking
I
pink.
usually am complimentary.
You're looking pink tonight, Alex.
Well,
In the pink. Yeah.
see, there you go. Charlie's just not nice enough to bring it up first. It's okay. It's all good. So I asked you how you were doing. I said I'm doing good. I was doing good. I'm very complimentary. You're the one that's always adjusting your damn lights. What you see is what you get with me.
Well, I mean, I can adjust it so that it's not as pink.
Doesn't matter to
You're
me.
looking pink tonight, Alex.
Well,
In the pink.
see, there you go.
Wait a minute. Somebody's got.
Don, turn your it's all good. So I asked you how you were doing. I said I'm doing good. I was doing good.
Hey, John, your audio.
Always adjust your damn
Hold
lights.
on a second. You got our audio coming through.
Oh, okay. Hang on.
Yeah,
Doesn't
hang
matter. Close the browser.
You just kill the browser. Just get rid of
Yeah.
the browser. All right, there you go. You're fine now. All right.
Did you hear about what's his name getting attacked on stage?
Well, we'll get to all of that in a while here.
I did
Yeah.
hear about it. I can't wait.
What's on in the background, John? You got TV or radio?
Boy,
Thank you.
you were here full force, weren't you, John?
Having a good time.
Sorry, John.
Yeah. Well, once we get everybody just right, the show will be almost over.
Time to go home.
Yeah. So anyway, every Monday and Tuesday nights, I usually figure I've got a free night. I could do something with my life, or just go in the other room and watch some TV, or maybe go take a walk if I want to. But lately, Jack Bishop has been having one problem after another.
Yep.
And so I can always plan on about 2 minutes into his show getting a call going, this thing won't work.
If he would, I don't know. If he got on Zoom, I know that there's
No, that has nothing to do. It had nothing to do with Zoom. Had nothing to do with
okay.
Zoom. Had nothing to do with the audio coming from you
okay.
guys. What it was is that there was somehow he either screwed up or something and moved his files, so that when he used a program we have called Butt and it was going to go record, it said, can't find the folder to record on, so we can't record it.
Yeah.
And so what I did, he couldn't get on the air. So I have him so that I can get onto his machine there. I've always done that as a backup. And so I found the file, and then I reset the butt so it would look for the file in the place where I think he moved it, and it worked fine.
Yeah.
Right? So now he's on the air. That's on Friday, I think. Monday, he can't get on. Oh, no, it was Monday he couldn't get on because of that reason. And so we got him on. So he was, but then he had some kind of problem. I don't think he actually did a show on Monday. But then on Tuesday, we got the whole thing set up and he ready to go, and he goes on the air, and he doesn't think he's on the air. Now he's on the air, but he doesn't think he is. All right?
And he was sure frustrated.
So now I've got to go and check that out. Okay, so now I'm back on his machine again, and I said, here, let me just click this. Boom. Oh, and what happened was we hadn't saved that configuration. So I simply reset it so it would go find the folder in that particular place, and he was good to go. But then he didn't think he was on the air, which he was. I don't know why. And then when the show was over, he said, well, it all screwed up again. I said, what happened? He said the thing didn't record. And I went and I found his files. I found his recordings. I said, there they are. I mean, he was so ready for this whole thing to fail, that, and so, I mean, everything was fine. Everything was just fine. And last night I hear him tell you guys who were called the show, well, it's just this damn computer just keeps screwing up on me. No, the computer did not screw up on him. The program screwed up because he screwed up. Okay? But I was able to fix it, and we're off and going, and everything's fine. But it's like every night that I think I've got a nice evening to relax and take it easy, all of a sudden, 10:30, I get a call. This thing isn't working. So.
I felt sorry for you last night when we were on the show, and he says, I got to call Alex again. I thought, God damn, the guy can't even relax.
Yeah. What do you say?
We're on, we're talking. If it's not recording, it ain't the end of the world. No,
it's a recording. In fact, I found a thing that whenever he runs this particular program, it's called Butt, it automatically starts recording. Okay? He had always been starting it by hitting a record button as well, and he only had to hit the go on to the send the encoder to the server, and at that point it automatically will start recording. So he was recording just fine.
I think the problem is he's not techie and you are. I mean, that's not a problem.
It's not that I'm techie. I tried to explain to him that I always tried to know exactly how everything works. And the reason I want to know how everything works is because I'm at the mercy of the technology. And I don't want to be. I want the technology to be at the mercy of me. And so even from the very beginning in radio, I mean, I could walk into a control room and I knew how the control board worked and how every button worked and everything, even though I wasn't on that side of the control board. Just so I knew. And it's kind of like Alfred Hitchcock, when he directed films, knew everything about making a film. Everything. So that he could walk in, he says, I never set up the lights. He said, but I come in, I look, and I say, that light needs to be pointing over there, and that light should be pointing over there, because that's how I want it to be. Okay, and the cameraman, do you have a such and such lens on right now? He knew all that because he knew if he was just a director, hey, move here, move there, and relied on everybody else, he didn't have complete control over his product. And so that's what I was trying to tell him, is that it's a matter of knowing this stuff, which is not rocket science, not the stuff that we're expecting him to do. And I think he's just so afraid of it that he's expecting it to fail. And his computer did not fail on any level. The program did because it wasn't programmed correctly.
Here's the funny thing for me. is I'm like you. Once I know how something works, I can help other people. So I help my whole family, my friends, and everybody as long as they have a Windows machine. I understand how Windows works, how to do this, that, and the other. The mechanical end of it, I know electrical, I know mechanical. So my computer 3 months ago is giving me problems I've never seen before. I get tech support.
Mm-hmm.
They were worthless from Dell. And I just got tired of it. I just went out and bought another computer. And it's kind of strange that I could fix everybody fine, everything. I took the thing in and it was a hard drive that was failing, a 2-year-old Dell business computer with a failing hard drive. So, I mean, I changed it, now I got a new computer sitting behind me that doesn't do anything.
Yeah, well, all you needed was a hard drive. A lot of
Yeah,
times when computers, I'll say this to people who are listening now, when computers go bad on you, that's not a bad thing. Because if you wind up having to erase everything and start from scratch, it just makes the machine fresh.
Yeah.
Because over several years, especially on Windows machines, they get cluttered.
Oh,
They
definitely.
get bloated. They get top heavy with programs that haven't unloaded. Every time you unload a program, you don't unload everything. And so it's kind of a blessing in disguise when all of a sudden you say, okay, it's terrible, but I gotta erase this whole machine and start all over again.
Windows 10 has a fresh start button where it erases a lot of stuff, but it doesn't erase your files, and it just reinstalls stuff for you. And I've used it on my laptop a couple times.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Another
That's
Dell
good.
product.
Yeah, because Windows gets very bloated. Very
definitely.
bloated. Macs don't as much.
Yeah, well,
Macs are pretty simple.
One thing I've learned: no more spinning hard drives. Solid state hard drive is the way to go. They're much faster. They're much more reliable.
Mm-hmm.
Much more expensive. Yeah.
That's okay. I mean,
and when they go, boy, do they go.
Oh, I haven't had one go yet. Thanks. That's good to know.
They do go.
With a spinning drive, you can write over and write over and write over programs all the time. With a solid state hard drive, the way the technology is, you can delete programs and reinstall back over that same piece of hardware about 6 times, and then that area becomes unusable.
Is that on the solid state?
Yeah, that's on the solid state drives.
I didn't know that.
But they're ultra reliable because I leave my computer on all the time, and there's no drive spinning. It's just sitting there, a chunk of silicone.
Well, this machine I've got here is solid state.
My next laptop is definitely going to be an Apple.
But all my hard drives basically are backed up to what we call a RAID.
Right, multiple hard drives.
Yeah, it's a whole RAID system, and that's served me pretty well. If any one of the drives goes bad, you simply pull it out, replace it, and it just rebuilds that drive.
You hot swap.
But in the meantime, everything's still working.
Yep.
So anyway,
it works for you.
Yeah. So let's.
I don't know that I would invest in one for a home computer, but
I would every time. I've got
really?
all my movies.
Maybe I'll look into it.
Got all my movies on there. All the shows I've done here, I have on there. I know that if this, and it can go bad, if this RAID goes bad on me, I simply pull out all the drives, get a new RAID, put the new drives in, and just sit there and wait.
Are these spinning drives or solid state drives?
They're spinning drives. You can put solid state drives in there too, but solid state drives still aren't cheap.
No.
And the way they're building hard drives today, they're pretty good. They last a long time.
I usually when I get spinning drives now, I get Western Digital Black. They're made for gaming, but you can use them for anything. So they're pretty well built for a spinning drive.
Yeah. What is that?
But my new computer has solid state drive.
Mm-hmm.
An HP gaming computer that a friend of mine couldn't afford,
mm-hmm.
and he had never even set it up. So
enough of this. This is boring.
Yeah, let's talk about something else.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Supreme Court.
What Supreme Court?
No shit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Worthless.
I let me put it this way. Okay, you can be against legalized abortion, all right? But the fact is, it's that constitutional right has existed now and it was dictated by the Supreme Court, by the way, in a court case for about
Was it
50
40 years?
I think 50 years.
73.
Yeah. When you've got something as a constitutional right, as a right,
Yep.
it should remain that way. And it is not the job of the Supreme Court to sit around reversing other Supreme Court decisions. If the decision has been made, that's it. On to other problems, Granted, it's not going to be like it was, where it was just illegal all over the country to do abortions, and whatever. That if California wants to do an abortion, it will probably be all right. If Oregon wants to, or Washington, or New York State. I mean, here in New York State, nobody has to worry about not being able to get an abortion after this happens. But, it's that person who lives in Texas who can't afford to even drive 20 miles, who can't get out of state to go get the abortion. Yes, Charlie.
The problem is if the Republicans take over the House and Senate this fall and then win the presidency in 2024, they will pass a federal law making abortion illegal everywhere. California and New York can just go fuck themselves.
Absolutely.
What I don't understand is why this is such an issue. To begin with.
I don't know either.
Huh?
I don't know either. I mean, they're making it illegal, even in the case of rape, or in the case of where anything. I mean, okay.
An 11-year-old girl gets raped by her uncle or something. Gotta have the baby.
Absolutely. What a bunch of horse shit.
Yeah. Yes, Tony.
You know what's funny is that they're worried about what they got in Florida. Wasn't he like all against people wearing masks? You don't have to wear this and that. But he'd be worried about them probably not getting an abortion. Like, let them do what they want, but yet they're trying to dictate what they want to do. It's all because it's an election year. I think. I really think they're just trying to.
Well, no, I mean, this had nothing to do with the election year, because this was a case before the Supreme Court, that they had to decide. Yes, Charlie.
This has to do with them finally getting the Supreme Court makeup that they want. And they did that by stealing 2 Supreme Court seats. They wouldn't let Merrick Garland sit, and then they had Amy, what's her name, a week before the election.
Barrett.
Yeah.
And so now that's the difference. That's made the difference. Yep. Because even Roberts wasn't so ridiculous as to think that you could take away a woman's right to decide what happens to her own body.
That's right.
Yes, John.
Yeah, all 5 of those conservative Supreme Court justices were appointed by presidents that were elected by the minority, too.
Right. Didn't even get a majority of the vote.
Yep.
Well,
Bush and Trump.
Yeah.
Well, the Supreme Court is supposed to be nonpartisan. Sure isn't looking that way.
Well, I mean, has it always been nonpartisan? Has there been times when has been nonpartisan? I don't think so.
Yeah,
I mean, everybody has a political opinion, but your job is not to enforce your political opinion. Right. The job is for you to interpret the Constitution and how this particular situation applies to the Constitution.
That's right.
And I've never been able to figure out, what that's all about. Okay.
I think after this gets finalized, the next thing they're going to go after is gay rights and gay marriage.
I think so. Yeah, they go after that.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Interracial marriage.
And interracial marriage.
Really?
And they're already starting in the South, and fumes have been coming out of my ears. They're bringing back Jim Crow laws again. Blacks are not going to be able to vote. They're not going to have rights.
They'll never do that. They couldn't do that.
Don't say they'll never do that.
Up.
My brother came out of work yesterday, Alex. He was working near the Freedom Tower, and he called me. They had a big rally against the abortion thing. They're already rallying in the city, if they're worried about it overturning it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know women that are going to Washington right now that are on.
I know women that have already gone to Washington.
Right.
They're there right now.
The problem is, the only problem with protesting this is, what good does it do? It's not going to change anything.
No. No, it won't.
You know,
It's just like when Trump got elected president or selected as president. There was rioting in the streets in San Francisco and Oakland and everything. Did it change him being president?
A million women's march. I mean,
Yeah, all that kind of stuff.
Anything.
you know, and I understand. You know, the reason somebody wants to march or to protest is because they're so irate about it that they want to have their voices be heard. But the fact is, it doesn't do anything. What you got to do is you got to get people signed up to vote and get them out. Get the vote out, and get some of these states to change their political makeup in the Senate and in the Congress and in the governor's houses. Yes, John.
I think we got to do something about money in elections because this idiot that got J.D. Vance guy, he basically got bought by. I mean, they basically bought that primary for him, and the guy that's paying for it is Peter Thiel.
Yeah.
So if it wasn't for like $10 million came in at the last month, and Trump's all acting like, oh, it was all because of me, it was my blah 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 that put him in, but no, it was the $10 million from Peter Thiel.
Yeah.
CNN would disagree with you, John. I was listening to him last night, and their analyst said that this is a test of Trump's power, and the guy that got voted in got way ahead when Trump endorsed him, 10 points or something. So, and CNN is far from conservative. So,
yeah, but I don't agree with that. I mean,
I don't agree with it either, but I think it is what it is.
Charlie?
Jumped on the bandwagon because like even when he was at that rally, he goes, yeah, well, they're all good. It's J.D. Monroe or whatever the other
The wrong name, yeah.
He called him the wrong name.
Who called him the wrong name?
Trump did at his rally. He goes, we're all here for J.D. Monroe or whatever that other guy's name is. He used the other guy's last name.
Yes, Charlie.
The whole point that they're ignoring is that the 13th Amendment says that involuntary servitude shall not exist in the United States. That's word for word what the 13th Amendment says.
Yep.
How is forcing a woman to give birth that she doesn't want to give birth, how is that not involuntary servitude?
How is it, though?
Going backwards.
How is it?
Making her do something she doesn't, and believe me, giving birth is labor. I was in the delivery room for my birth of my kids, and I know hours and hours of hard work went into those births.
Did you watch the birth of your child?
Yes, all three of them.
My father.
What's his name? James Corden the other night on the Letterman show, on a clip I was watching, said that he had an uncle who told him, are you going to go watch the birth of your child? He says, yeah, I'm going to go down there and watch it. And he says, don't. He said, don't do it. He said, it's kind of like watching a train wreck. He said, because he said, what was it? What was his? He said, it's kind of like watching your favorite pub burn down. And he said, then they rebuild it and you have to go back in. But it's not the same as it used to be.
I don't know. In some ways, it's better.
I think it's like watching a miracle happen.
Yeah.
It was. I wouldn't have missed it. I wouldn't have missed it for the world.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't believe my dad wasn't allowed back in the 50s. Wasn't allowed in the delivery room during births.
Yeah. But anyway, it's a shame that this whole thing's going down like it is. I think the real shame, and we all know that's the real shame, is the fact that the whole thing got leaked ahead of time.
I think a Republican leaked it because they wanted to give time for the anger to subside. If it had come out in July, it would still be there by the time November came around, and that would hurt the Republicans even more.
Yeah. Now, my question is, even though this was a draft, are they all held to what they said they were going to do, or can they change their mind?
No, not at all.
They could change their mind, but then everybody would know that so-and-so changed his mind. And who wants to have that over their head?
Well, why should they care? They've got a job for life. They don't have to worry about anybody loving them or not loving them.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's the problem.
You know, I mean,
And who's going to change their mind anyway? All those, the conservatives, none of those guys are going to change their mind. You know, you already know. You know, you already know that they're going to deter. You know, recall it or whatever.
they're going to recall what?
I mean, whatever. You know, they're gonna strike it down.
I don't
Wait a minute,
think
they're going to
this,
strike what down?
Roe.
Oh yeah, they're going to strike Roe down. Yeah.
Yeah, no matter what, you know they're
Yeah.
going to do it.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't think there's no big surprise.
I don't know that any. I keep trying to figure it out and Google it and find out. I don't think any Supreme Court decision has ever been specifically said by a future court that previous court made the wrong decision.
I don't think so.
Well, they've stood by the
Yeah, there was. Yeah, the Plessy and
No,
Plessy.
as far as I know, it's still not illegal to be discriminatory on trains. All
Well,
they said in Brown v. Board of Education that you couldn't discriminate in schools.
That's
okay.
right. That's right.
But didn't they say that Plessy was wrong or something? Or
Oh, people may have had that opinion, but that wasn't part of the Supreme Court decision.
Nope.
no? Oh, okay.
Yeah, but in this
But it effectively did do away with Plessy, though, right?
Well, like I said, as far as I know, it is still legal. Of course, you wouldn't get away with it. If you tried to discriminate on trains, you'd be boycotted out of existence.
well, let's face it. This is all part of this problem is all that fucking Donald Trump. All right, you know.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know about Trump. I mean, I don't think he has any politics. If you want my opinion, I think he just wants to destroy the United States of America.
He wants power. He wants to be Putin. He
Yep.
wants to be a dictator of the United States.
Yeah.
Now,
So obvious.
now, does Putin have cancer or doesn't Putin have cancer?
Let's hope so.
You don't know for sure. They can't verify it. But
Hopefully it's
looks
brain
like-
cancer and it's aggressive.
No, it's stomach cancer.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
Who says?
That's the rumor. I mean,
That's the rumor. The story is that he's turned the country over to somebody else,
Really?
to some friend of his. Yeah.
yeah, he's
Who's-
undergoing surgery. Yeah, so he's not going to be available for a while.
Oh man, I hope the doctors have a heart and fucking overdose him on the drug.
Really?
Oops, I nicked an artery. Ah.
Well, they're probably operating on him with a gun to their head.
Yeah,
You better
you know
not.
it. You know it.
Talk about pressure.
What? What'd you say?
Talk about pressure. Imagine working on Putin. You're right.
Yeah.
You better not. You better not make me make this.
I'm scared.
Even if it's not your fault, if he dies, you know you're dead.
Yeah. So I mean, we all, of course, we all wish him dead. And it's not a terrible thing. If you think it's a terrible thing, ladies and gentlemen, to wish Putin dead, this is a guy who's killing people by the tens of thousands, right?
Yep.
You know, and it just horrible, and I still don't understand why we don't just go in there and kick ass and take names, you know.
Yeah.
For some reason, my camera's been glitching for the last couple of weeks here, and I don't know why. It doesn't matter. I don't care anymore. You know? But I mean,
Well, we can't just go in for 1
huh?
year or whatever. We go in, it's 20 years of war.
Yeah,
We can't just go in, get the job done, and come out.
right. So,
I hope they open the stomach up and find out it's spread. It's inoperable. It's going to die a painful death.
yeah. So anyway,
He's
that's
a nicer
yeah.
guy.
So now we got this other thing that you brought up. Who brought it up earlier? With
Somebody, was it Alan or John? Who was the one brought up the other thing? Yeah.
Oh, the Dave Chappelle thing?
Dave Chappelle. Yeah.
Is that what I hadn't heard that?
You had heard, you hadn't heard about the Dave
No,
Chappelle
I
thing?
haven't heard anything about
No,
Dave.
I didn't hear.
Oh, he was doing his act. I think it was last night on
Oh, yeah.
on stage at the
Hollywood Bowl.
Hollywood Bowl, and it was I think it was a Netflix function.
I just canceled it to Netflix.
Did you?
Yeah, they want me to. I got an email. Come back for $8. No, I'll wait
Let
for
him
straight.
finish. Finish the story, Alex.
Sorry.
Yeah. Anyway, he was on stage, and all of a sudden, some guy comes on stage, and he has what turned out later to be a toy gun, but he had a knife attached to the front of it, and he lunged at Chappelle, and Chappelle got knocked to the ground, and then I think he jumped up and got him. Okay. And then a bunch of other people jumped on the guy and beat the living crap out of him. Wound up with a broken arm and a broken leg, and he's in a hospital right now. But that's prior to going to jail, because this is a deadly assault. Okay, and it goes to show that not even comedians are safe anymore. You know. And you had, what's his name? You had Chris Rock was at the show. He got up and he said, "Was that Will Smith?"
Get out of here. Did you really?
Yes.
Really? Is that true?
No.
Yeah.
He says,
Really?
Was that Will Smith?
Oh, that's great.
But I mean, it was pretty scary, and I'm frightened for comics today. You
Yeah,
know?
me too.
We don't like what you have to say about transsexuals. You know.
Blap.
Yeah, and that isn't the reason. We don't know why the guy went after him.
No, we don't. Right? Did they ever say why?
Huh? Well, I mean,
You never really.
we're still too soon, you know, so we don't know.
And he looked like he was sitting close, Alex. I watched that TMZ thing. He looked like he was in the front. This guy.
He
looked like
could have
was
been,
in
but
front.
you don't know. He could have been all the way in
No.
back and just come forward to the front and look like he was coming from the front, you know, because he didn't look like the kind of guy who could afford the expensive seats.
Because he said, yeah, he said something about his hair. Yeah.
Yeah. How you doing, Kevin?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, how about yourself?
Yeah, we're doing okay. We talked on Saturday night. We get together, a bunch of us, and we just have our own little discussion. It doesn't get aired or anything like that. We talked for what, 3 hours the other night?
Woo.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. And I'm trying to remember the stuff we talked about, and I can't remember one of the topics we talked about.
Yeah, we kind of drifted around a little bit.
Yeah. But anyway,
Best conversations.
Focus.
what?
Those are the best conversations that just
Yeah.
go wherever
Oh
they
yeah,
go.
yeah. Yes, Kevin. Or did you?
No, I'm saying I'm out of focus or something.
Oh, I know you're not. You're completely.
Oh, you look okay.
Now,
Yeah,
you
it
look
must
fine.
be my eyeballs then anyway.
Yeah.
I
Anyway,
went to the urologist today.
What
That's
day of the
probably
week
why.
is it?
you went to the urologist today.
That's probably why I messed with my eyeballs.
What did he do? What did he do? That?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Checked my PSA and said, it looks good. Checked my bladder, said, bye-bye.
How
See
do
you
you look at your PSA? Never mind.
blood test.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Never mind. I was thinking he looked at your prostate. I missed.
No, he didn't even bend me over today.
He didn't do the rectal?
Nah,
What fun was it?
I know. Didn't even have a cigarette or nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
I said, what am I paying for
I
here?
don't know. Last time my guy did it, he shoved his finger up there, and after it was over, he said, "Was it good for you?" You know, I mean,
That's what I always tell him. I said, okay, now who's supplying the cigarette?
I did have a doctor who every time I went to him, this was back in my late 20s when I was here in New York for the first time, well, every time I would go to him, would say, "Well, bend over," and he would stick his finger up my butt. And I'm going, or as the British call it, the back passage.
Back passage.
Yeah. And
Your
I
entrance.
kept saying, every time I come in here, you stick your finger up my butt. He says, "You like it, don't you?"
That's
I
why
said,
you keep
no.
coming back, Rick.
No, I don't like it.
The ADHD.
He must have had a lot of gay,
Yeah.
I don't know, boy. I tell you,
Patience.
they stick their finger up my rear. It feels like they got their hand in there.
He had his hand in my thing.
no, he didn't.
No,
I felt like it, though, Alex. When he
No,
was- he
it's
said
a
it was all
finger.
smooth.
It's a little finger. Don't be a big baby.
I would. Well, he He said I was all smooth, but I don't want to get into this anymore.
No, well, if you're smooth, you're smooth.
Yeah, but
Ouch.
he's so persistent.
You're
though,
also
I mean.
very cool, as opposed to.
Yeah, I don't know about that. My sister's like, just do this already. Yeah.
So what they feel for is lumps,
Yeah,
abnormalities,
you have nothing.
and the size of it. So at our age, your prostate should weigh about an ounce, about 30 grams,
I
35
don't know if he went
grams.
in with a scale.
Yeah, right. He goes in with a
Yeah, I'm just
scale.
thinking, hold on. I got it from Amazon. I put it on them.
How do you
After
know?
he
How,
finishes, he should put it in his report about the size, and they usually estimate the weight,
I
30
have no
gram,
idea.
25
how can you
gram.
estimate the weight by feeling it there?
I
was
don't
gonna
know.
ask you, how could they do that?
Well,
That's
I used
unless
to.
they do a
I used to
scan.
think he was actually feeling the prostate.
That's what I thought.
But
Alex.
he's not.
No?
He's not. No, I said to him, I said, I've had those seeds in there. Don't cut your fingers on the seeds. You know?
What's coming out? With
And
some
he
sort
said
of
to me,
seed.
well, no, we don't. When we feel the prostate, we feel through
Yeah.
the membrane. There's a membrane on the other side, and we're feeling it through the membrane.
Well, they're feeling it through your.
I'm sure this is something every member of our audience would like to hear right now. Oh,
Already.
hey, I listened
Remember-
to the Ramble last night. 20 minutes on fingers up asses. Gee, it was really swell and wonderful.
Hey, Alex, can I ask you a
But I
question?
did have a nice lunch in Monterey afterwards.
Did you wash your hands first?
I didn't touch nothing.
No, he didn't do it.
Yeah, yes, Tony. What were you going to say?
After I get through this whole ordeal, I was going to ask you a question. Can you? Phil's a nice guy, right? Because I was going to go out there and
No,
visit Phil and
Phil's a horrible human being. Okay.
Is he safe to visit, Alex? Do you think, or what?
What?
Is he safe to visit if I fly out there in September?
Ask Alan.
Tony,
Yeah.
that's for you to ask him, not
I'm
for
only
me
joking.
to
I was
say.
trying to see what you would say, though.
But
No,
I
you're
would
not.
say, I would say,
No.
I would do him a favor and say he doesn't want to see you. Okay.
Yeah. I was wondering if he was listening. That's why he
Because
said
I
he's
hear there
calling.
are several people on this panel that you've been bugging.
Yeah. My sister's like, she just came over before. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. My uncle called. I thought he wanted me to come back to work again.
Tony,
Did you get the biopsy yet? So you know conclusively. It'll put
No,
your
that's
mind
not-
at ease.
That's not till next week. But I'm
Good.
pretty good right now. So, I mean, they told me not to panic or nothing like that.
Oh, no panic.
now I understand. I wanted to send you to my doctor, and you said he couldn't take you because you didn't have.
He doesn't take Emblem Health. I called. First, he said he did his lady. And then when I called back, I was going to go for the second opinion because I got his NPI number. I had it written down here. And when I called back, I called my insurance. They said, we're not sure if he takes it. They couldn't. So I said, I called her back. And then the lady in his office said they did. Then when I called back, they said I was going to go in there to do if they, for the second opinion. She says, oh, he doesn't take Emblem Health. So then I decided, you know what? I actually did like this guy I'm going to, because I like my GP. So it's like, you know what? My sister said, just do it because you know what? It's not going to
Well,
cost you
I don't
nothing.
like this guy you're going to. Okay.
I mean, I know what
because I think he's going too fast to go for a biopsy. There are several other steps he should be taking first.
I thought he was going to actually surveillance it because he went down twice.
Yeah, but it was. You told me it was 4, and then it was 3938. Statistically, it's all the same number.
I know, but it's headed the right direction.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
that's
as
what
long
my
as it
GP
keeps
said.
going down.
Mine went from a 6.5 down to a 4.3.
See, I was
And
only
I
a
still
4.8.
got a biopsy because he gave me a supplemental test of the blood that determined that there was a good chance I might have a high what they call Gleason count.
I
And
did
so
the same
then
thing.
and only then did he do the biopsy. He said he doesn't rush into biopsies.
Like
You
the
know.
first urologist I had, it went from 0.6 all the way up to 3.2, still in the normal range. And the guy says, "Let's do a biopsy." I'm like, "Whoa, there's other tests you can do first." I got a second opinion, paid out of pocket, no big deal, $300. And the guy says, "You've got chronic prostatitis that could cause the number to go up. Let's give you antibiotics for a few weeks and retest it." And it retested, and guess what? It's back down to where the normal range is. They did free PSA, which tells the likelihood of possibility of cancer. It was like 35. Anything above 25 is good.
By the way, to tell you about what I consider bad doctoring, I Sunday called Will Durst to see if he had had his hip thing fixed.
Oh, good.
And yes, he has. They repaired the ball joint. They put in a new ball joint. But this was something that was keeping him from going home for a year. The fact that he couldn't get up on this leg, and it was in great pain. And then it turns out that all he needed was to have the ball joint fixed. Now he's in the hospital, right? His wife, Debbie, who has a titanium hip, had to get the other hip done. So she was in the hospital at the same time, and they had them both in the same room.
Nice.
It was the first time, Debbie said, it's the first time in a year, in 2.5 years, that we've been able to sleep in the same room. And I suddenly remembered he snores.
Maybe she does too.
But it was so adorable. The two of them in the same room. It was wonderful to see. You know.
Don't get any ideas, Tony. We're not going to sleep in the same room with you.
No.
He's got like a bed and breakfast out there, Alex. 8 rooms, I told Phil. Phil told me.
What, he's got a bed and breakfast?
No, Alan. I said he's got 8 rooms in the house. My God.
Yeah.
Do you have that many, Alan? Well, you'd be a son of a bitch not to invite Tony to come to stay.
I'd be crazy to invite Tony. Are you kidding? I wouldn't even want him using my bathroom.
Not even if he really had a bad prostate?
Oh, well, maybe then.
Yeah, then you could sympathize with him.
He'd sit on the toilet seat with that bidet running for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, one of those. I feel like I'm in a hotel.
That's why I won't have you stay here.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got a bidet in the bathroom. I'm never leaving.
Gee, all this talk has gotten our numbers up. I don't know why.
Don't say numbers. I get nervous. They're up. They're down.
Important discussions.
Different set of numbers.
And you know what? I tell you the truth. I'm like you, Alex. I get like a nervous wreck. Even my sister said, and her friends know, she says, you got nothing to worry about. She said, it isn't like you were ever really high at all.
That you what? Well,
like my number was never like
the point is, you could have it. You know, no.
I know. I just don't want to think about it.
But you've gotten it early enough that it can be taken care of. I mean, look
Absolutely.
at now. Of course, at my age, it's not particularly dangerous. It's just got to be taken care of. But the fact of the matter is that, you know, I had it. You know, I literally had the cancer, right? So I don't have it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you do what you got to do to take care of it if that's the case. You know, but you know,
I'm hoping,
don't start writing your will.
Although, I already did a little bit.
Although if you do will all your comic books to me, okay.
I got a lot of books too.
Yeah.
Nobody would even know how to sell it because they wouldn't know what it's worth.
Don't leave him to that bastard Shecky.
Yeah.
God forbid. I actually have a movie poster from him. He doesn't even know that. I don't think I told him. I have it framed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But anyway, so you know, I mean, where were we? What were we talking about?
My will. Don't make it out.
Don't make your will.
How did we get from Dave Chappelle to Tony's prostate? That's an ugly.
I got the prostate of a black guy potentially and the penis of a white guy. How do you figure this? Really? I told that to Phil.
So, what does a black guy's prostate look like different than a white guy's? That I'm
doesn't, but they are more prone to prostate cancer.
Yes. I understand that part.
And I'm wondering if that
prostate looks any different.
Well, I'm wondering if that has to do with genetics or that has to do with just societal reasons. Why? You know,
black, Italian, it's all the same thing, right?
No, but blacks. Am I right? Am I right, Charlie? Blacks have a higher propensity towards prostate cancer.
Yeah.
So if you have a first relative, a brother or a father that has had prostate cancer, that puts you at higher risk.
Well, my father never had prostate cancer.
I'm just saying puts you at higher risk. It doesn't mean risk and outcome are two different things, you know?
Yeah.
When you know, Tony, when you get in your 50s and 60s,
oh, it stinks.
your risk goes up.
I'll tell you why I got it. I got it because I'm 82 years old. I was 80 years old. Age will, most men, if they live long enough, will get prostate cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they say there's a God. You know, I mean,
I don't want to meet him anytime soon. I'm afraid he's going to be Chinese, but all the Chinese jokes I did.
If there wasn't a God that cared about people, Donald Trump would have done it.
Well, no, it's just that I just don't see that God was that perfect in making the human body, and the prostate is a perfect example of that. I mean, how do you put, you know, here, if, in case people don't know, the prostate really is round with a it's like a circle, okay? And what goes through that circle? The urethra, which carries the urine. As you get older, it tightens in around the urethra until you then have to get up at 20 times a night to go to the bathroom. All right? Yeah. If there was a God, and he was an all-knowing God, and he was a perfect architect, he would have built the prostate so the urinary tract goes around it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not a plumber, I can tell you that.
Right.
That's
Can I add to that list that if there was a God, he would make testicles less sensitive to impact? I've always said that. I mean,
yeah. You know, but I mean, what a bad job he did on that. You know, prostates.
When they had him on the cross crucified, he said, "I'll get you, son of a bitch."
Well, wait a minute, that wasn't God. That was
the Son of God.
God, you're a Catholic. That wasn't God. That was Christ.
I'm all confused. They would kill anybody.
You're all confused between God and you don't know that one is the Son.
I thought he was God,
and one is the Father. And I don't even know who the hell the Holy Ghost is.
I was all confused. I thought that was him on the cross.
That was God on the cross?
No.
There's three people and one God.
You know, I mean, and then they got this other thing, the baby Jesus. What's the baby Jesus?
Oh, my mother used to put that at a Christmas.
No, but is he different than the regular Jesus? The baby
that's what
Jesus?
she had him in the thing. Remember Moses when they put him? I love that movie when they put the baby in the water and they push him down the thing.
You know, Tony, if you do have prostate cancer and they're going to treat it, you want to make sure that you tell your doctor that you'd like to have sex with a woman just once in your life beforehand.
I'm hoping no. He told me it's like, listen, we'll just do it. It's a 10-15% chance tops. Oh, so 85 is in my favor. I said he's got some bedside manner. This guy.
So they have a formula, and you can look at it online, Tony.
Well, what you should say to him is, "Well, get back to me when it's a 50% chance, and we'll do all this stuff."
So,
50% chance is 10. I think. Well, they can't even prove it because the lady who's a nurse, my sister's friend, she was telling me that if your score was over a 10 rising, then you got a 50% chance. That's your PSA. Anything over a 10. But she said blood is very tricky. I never really my baseline could be in the 2s and 3s because I never really had it done.
PSA is not a good diagnostic tool. That's the bottom line.
It was
originally designed.
But a PSA is not considered a diagnostic tool. It's considered a sign that you might.
Yeah, like I'm in the normal range still. Like normal range is a 3, 5.
You can be in the normal range and you can still have prostate cancer.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I was reading on that. That's what
absolutely.
But, so it's like, but all I'm saying is that the blood test has always been considered the best way to predict whether you have it or not. But it's an indicator that they should look at more things if they see it going up, because it's just suspicious. Now it could be caused by any number of things.
Prostatitis can cause it. Just an inflammation, a non-cancerous swelling of the prostate.
Being married for 20 years, that can cause it.
Thank God I never had that problem.
You know, having your wife nag you for years and years.
He even said age too. When you age, everybody ages differently. The body, so it's like.
Yeah. Well, you know, quit calling everybody.
I know. I'm like an old maid. I'm making my thing.
I mean, I told him when he went, I had him call me so I could get.
I was going to call you again, but he says Alex said lose the number.
I told him lose my number,
And I did. I wouldn't do it. I said, he doesn't need to hear this old man.
The people that I know that got a call from you, Tony, are me, Phil, Shecky, Alex, Brian, probably Charlie,
I messaged
probably
Charlie.
Jeff.
Yeah, we messaged.
Oh, I didn't get to Jeff yet.
Oh, did you
I
get
think-
one, Charlie?
No,
We had a message conversation go on for
Right.
About
About an
this,
hour or
about
two.
this.
About 4 months now, yeah.
Yeah,
Something like that.
folks, if any of you are watching us right now, make sure that Tony never gets your phone number or your text. Well, if he has your phone number, then he has the text. See,
Then I have the text, yeah.
so
Well,
make
Tony
sure
doesn't have my
there's
phone
no
number.
way he gets your phone number, because that's
He doesn't have my phone number. We do it through Facebook Messenger.
because I have this watch here, and every time somebody calls on, the messenger, Facebook Messenger, it goes off. My wrist buzzes. And when he was sending me stuff, every 5 seconds it was going.
Oh, yeah.
Bzz, bzz, bzz.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking of installing it in my ass and getting a cheap thrill out of it.
What are you doing? Pick up. I need the extra stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That would kind of be like a self-winding watch. When you walk, it would wind up if it was in your ass. So.
Yeah, something like that. But anyway, so we got a lot of things happening. We got the Supreme Court, and then also you got Ukraine still going on, still a real deal.
that's going to take a long time.
Yeah, we do know that we gave the Ukrainians the information on how to kill these generals that got killed. That we were in on helping them find the generals.
Right on.
Yeah, yeah. So we've been doing
They
something.
know where they are.
Yeah, I mean they've killed about 5 or 6 generals.
Yep.
In fact, that latest guy they sent, what do they call him? The killer or whatever, murderer.
Oh, yeah.
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. He got
He
injured.
was.
He got injured.
No, he survived.
Survived, but he was injured.
Yeah.
So it's terrible. It's just horrible. Well, and we're living in a horrible country right now. What's going on is just it. I'm not going to be here that long, and thank God I'm not, because I don't want to have to put up with what's coming. It can only get worse. It can only get uglier.
The latest thing on Putin's is he may have incurable stomach cancer.
Where's that coming from? Because the only one that's been reporting this is the New York Post,
Yes.
and that's a Murdoch newspaper.
This is on Newsweek.
Oh, Newsweek.
Newsweek. Oh, okay. Inoperable cancer. Gee, is it slow?
It's speculation.
Who
Who knows?
Well, it's
It
supposedly
probably started out as prostate cancer, and he didn't take care of it, Tony.
no. Yeah, right. No, but it's so it could be that this guy who's going to take over from him is worse than he is.
Yeah.
Think about that.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Why? You know him personally?
Yeah, really.
Got a Christmas card.
You get a Christmas card from him every
He
year?
lives on Larkin Street in San Francisco.
Yeah. Well, let me see here.
My earpods keep on taking over. I don't know what's going on.
What?
My iPods, earpods, whatever, have a microphone, and I keep on getting a message that it's taking over or something. I don't know.
Oh, you have an iPhone too, though, right?
No, but it's the earpods is what keeps on showing up. A message says your microphone is now being used by your iPod or your earpods.
Listen, just wait till you get what I got, which is a refrigerator that sends me texts.
Oh, fuck.
Okay, then life is not worth living any longer.
Marjorie, you're opening the door too often. I keep getting a text. The heat's going
And
up
she's
in the
cooking.
refrigerator.
My watch goes, it's been turned on, it's been turned off, it's been turned on again, it's been turned off. The burner is on, and then once a month I get a letter, an email from my stove. So Anyway, everybody, thank you so much, Charlie, Jeff, Alan,
Great to see you.
John Larkin, always good to see you. Tony, great to see you. Kevin, you're the best. You're the best. And everybody, give a big wave goodbye, and I'll give a big wave goodbye at you, okay? There they go, ladies and gentlemen. That's our citizen panel. They're out of here. They're going. They're disappearing. Anyway, that's it for tonight. Jack Bishop is next. He's here with The Intersection, which is over most of the same GabNet. And you can call him by using Skype and call him at GabNet Live. That's the address, GabNet Live. And you'll be able to talk to him and have fun time being part of that citizen panel. Meanwhile, I'll see you again tomorrow night. Same time, same station in life. In the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Good night, everybody, and be safe.